You're standing in line, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. You tap your card. A beep. Payment approved. And in that exact moment, money appears. Not moves, not transfers, appears. That should bother you a little, because almost no one can explain who actually created that money. And if you think the answer is the government or the central bank, you're already off. Today, we're going to slow that moment down, that single tap, and expose the quiet machine behind it. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it changes how you look at banks, debt, and your own bank balance. Right now matters because most payments today aren't cash. They're not even real money in the old sense. They're promises layered on top of promises, and the system only works as long as everyone keeps believing. Let's start simple. You walk into a cafe and buy a $5 coffee. You don't hand over a bill. You swipe your card. Your bank balance goes down by 5. The cafe's balance goes up by 5. Feels clean. Feels obvious. But no physical money moved. No truck. No vault. No pile of cash sliding across a table. So what actually happened? Behind the scenes, your bank didn't send 5 existing dollars to the cafe's bank. It changed 2 numbers in 2 databases. One number went down, another went up. That's it. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. Those numbers don't represent money sitting somewhere waiting to be used. They represent claims, promises, and most of the time, those promises were created when someone took on debt. To see this, we need to rewind to where modern money actually comes from. Imagine you walk into a bank and ask for a loan. Let's say $100,000. You think the bank checks a vault, counts bills, and hands you money it already has. That's not what happens. The bank opens a computer, types a number, and credits your account with $100,000. That money did not exist 5 seconds ago. The bank didn't take it from someone else's savings. It didn't borrow it from the government first. It created new money by making a loan. At the same time, it created a debt. One asset for the bank. One liability for you. Money and debt are born together, like twins that can't be separated. This is the part most people never hear. In most modern economies, over 90% of money is created by commercial banks. Not central banks. Not governments. Banks. Central banks create base money, reserves, cash. But the money you swipe with, the money in your checking account, that's mostly bank-created credit. So when you swipe your card, you're not spending pre-existing money in the traditional sense. You're transferring bank promises inside a closed system. And that system is built on one assumption. Not everyone will ask for their money at the same time. Because if they did, the illusion would crack. Banks operate on something called fractional reserves, which sounds technical, but is actually very human. It means banks keep only a small fraction of the money they promise to customers. If everyone demanded cash tomorrow, the bank couldn't deliver. Not because it's evil, but because the system was never designed to do that. It was designed to expand. It's where the story gets stranger. Every time a loan is paid back, money disappears. Not moves, disappears. The principal portion of the loan is destroyed, deleted from the system. Only the interest remains. And that interest has to come from somewhere else in the economy. Period. Which means the system constantly needs new loans just to keep enough money circulating. Debt isn't a bug, it's the fuel. This is why economies panic when lending slows down. Not because people suddenly hate growth, but because the money supply itself starts shrinking. Now zoom back to your coffee. When you swipe your card, your bank settles with the cafe's bank, using reserves at the central bank. But you never see that layer. You live entirely in the credit layer. SA, and confidence. And confidence. This is why bank runs are so dangerous. They're not just about fear. They expose the math, and the math says the system works only if most people don't look too closely. There's a quiet irony here. We're told to be responsible with money, to save, to budget, to avoid debt. Yet the entire monetary system depends on someone, somewhere, constantly borrowing. If everyone paid off their debts tomorrow, the economy wouldn't become healthy. It would freeze. Money would vanish faster than goods could adjust. Businesses would collapse. Unemployment would spike. Not because people failed, but because the structure demands perpetual motion. This leads to a bigger question. Who controls this process? Banks decide who gets loans. Who gets access to newly created money? Who doesn't? That means banks don't just allocate capital. They shape the economy. Which industries grow? Which cities boom? Which people get a head start? All without ever printing a single bill. And this power is mostly invisible because it feels boring, technical, abstract. Until it isn't. Until credit tightens. Until rates rise. Until suddenly the machine that made money feel abundant reverses. Then everyone asks the same question. Where did the money go? The uncomfortable answer is, it was never a thing to begin with. It was a relationship, a promise stack, a balance sheet agreement. And when those agreements unwind, the money unwinds with them. This is why financial crises feel surreal. Nothing physical breaks. Yet everything stops. No factories explode. No crops fail. But people lose jobs, homes, stability. Because the numbers changed direction. Now here's the part that's easy to miss. This system isn't a conspiracy. It's a design choice. Created to allow growth without waiting for gold, or taxes, or savings to catch up. It's powerful, efficient, and fragile. Like building a city on moving walkways. As long as they run, everything feels effortless. When they stop, you realize how much you were relying on them. So the next time you swipe your card, remember what's actually happening. You're not spending money someone minted and stored for you. You're participating in a vast, invisible credit engine. One that creates money when we borrow. Destroys it when we repay. And survives only as long as confidence holds. That tiny beep at the checkout isn't just a payment confirmation. It's a quiet vote of trust in the entire financial system. And for now, the system accepts it. Every time.